Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Growing the Ozarks. My name is Kelly McGowan with University of Missouri Extension, and today my guest is my colleague, Reagan Bluel, also with University of Missouri Extension, and she is a dairy specialist serving dairy operations and dairy farms in Southwest Missouri. Reagan, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Kelly, thank you so much for the invitation. I always love the opportunity to talk about dairy farm families and the delicious product they produce.
Absolutely. You know, dairy farms have a rich and interesting history here in the Ozarks. And can you tell us a little bit about how today's farms might differ from those original farms, whether it be technology or sustainable farming practices or those types of things?
You bet. Well, I'm stationed down here in Southwest Missouri in the corner of the state because that's where the vast majority of the 300 dairy farms are in the state. While there are some others throughout the state, we really have a big grouping down here in the corner. And right now, those farms are owned and operated by farm families, and so that really hasn't changed very much, but perhaps the total number of cows per farm has maybe increased just slightly. And so it's not uncommon for us to see around 100, 120 cows on average for our milking herd here in the state of Missouri. While there are herds that are larger than that, they're fewer and far between here in the Ozarks division. Now, the biggest change that we've seen within the industry is probably more the number of grade A dairies. We're actually slightly less than 300 grade A dairies here in the region, whereas just as recently as, say, 10 years ago, we were at above 1,100. And so we have seen a decline in the total number of farms, but those that are still milking cows do it because they love it and they love providing a healthy, nutritious product for their consumers.
Yeah, and often it's been in families for several generations as well. Yeah.
You bet,
So
absolutely.
a little bit about dairy products. So not only are they a delicious, wholesome, nutritious food for us, but people might not realize just some of the regulations that the dairy industry must go through. And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. I'm glad that you brought that up because I matter-of-factly mentioned grade A dairies, and that's a term that we throw around here in the industry quite a lot, but some folks might not know what that means. Grade A means that on a regular basis, there's an inspector that comes out and inspects every inch of that milk house and ensures the proper procedures are being in place to ensure that product is healthy and safe. And the grade A dairy fluid product then gets transported by the cooperative to the processor, where they then process that following what's called the pasteurized milk ordinance. And so this is a bunch of garbly-goop 700-page document that tells us how to do this accurately and correctly, because we acknowledge that milk is derived in order to provide solid nutrition for all classes of human beings, even the most vulnerable, like our young children that are less than 2 and our elderly group that just have trouble metabolizing or being exposed to any sort of pathogen. So it actually is the highest regulated product or consumable food group that you could possibly purchase. But it has to be purchased through those streams in order to know that it's reliably safe. There are laws on the book that allow for the legal sale of raw milk in the state of Missouri, but we always encourage folks to consume pasteurized products from the storefront. You can purchase pasteurized products directly from different farm families throughout the state. And if you need help finding those farm family-run creameries, I'd be happy to help you do that. But in general, we always support the consumption of pasteurized milk to help keep your family safe, because dairy contains 13 different essential nutrients and all 9 essential amino acids that your body craves and needs to be successful. And so it really is legitimately the most valuable source of nutrition that you can get at only about 20 cents a glass. There's not much better out there for your dollar to purchase that can fuel your family with exactly what they need.
All right, very good. Well, Reagan, thank you for joining us today.
I hope you have a wonderful morning.
All right, thanks. You too. And we'll have Reagan's contact information and some additional information about today's episode at ksmu.org. And also look for this podcast on some other favorite streaming platforms. Thanks for joining us today.